Well, I have a spicy replay here for you today. This is a ranked game that I played last night. And if you're on my Discord, you might have seen the screenshots of it already. But if you're not on there, then you haven't. We are, first of all, being joined by our wonderful friend, little Mr. Stewie. So if you hear meowing in the background, there's that. First things first, looking at the matchmaking threats to my ship. Stewie, get off the microphone, please. We have double Brandenburg, a protector that is going to be super annoying to deal with, a Benson, and a Venturier. I don't know how to... I'm not French, so I really don't know how to say that. Stewie, please move. And a Sturdy for submarines to piss me off. So, Stewie, yeah. Anyway, my game plan for right now is to move Stewie. Oh, so he's not blocking my microphone. And while I'm doing it, what I'm looking at doing is I want to head into B right here. And my goal is to spot anything that's kind of heading towards this line right here. I think that should be visible, but the lines used to be bigger than that. I don't know why they're appearing like that. But anyway, my goal is to spot anything that's moving down here or down here towards A. And then if there's any destroyers in this area, then I want to be able to engage them. So that's what I'm looking at. My main goal is to do spotting and possibly face check a destroyer and maybe kill it. I'm not holding my breath on the ladder, but if we can at very least spot it out and know where one of their destroyers is, it would be helpful information to have. So, right now we do have our Baltimore radar, who is going to be able to radar B, should I need it, but we are not going to, because their destroyer is right over here. Now, I have, first of all, more health than he does, just at base, and I also have a heal, even though I did take a couple of nasty hits right there. Benson guns, or really just American destroyers in general, are easy to write off. But their guns, when they get multiple shell hits like that Benson just did, those guns do hurt when you get hit by a lot of them. But as soon as this protector is spotted, and this Brandenburg is also walking, as soon as I see this protector, and I didn't even see the Brandenburg turning in a few seconds ago. I was mainly focused this way, and then I noticed after the fact that the Brandenburg was turning in, and that the Aventurier was also in B. So as soon as I saw all of those, I'm immediately like, nope, I don't want any of what you're selling. And I just dip from the smoke. And you can see the Venturier torpedoes that went through the smoke missed me. And then I ended up getting hit by a ping that was meant for this Brandenburg, which is mildly annoying. But the torpedoes that I fired at this Brandenburg was accounting that he was going to just monkey push straight towards our friendly Brandenburg or a Baltimore. And he, of course, did not do that because he actually has some semblance of brain power, at least for the time being. So those torpedoes missed because Brandenburg, at the very minimum, has a sense of self-preservation. The Protector and presumably the Benson are stepping into A, which is not really anything I can do about that. At this point, I'm under the assumption that it was the Aventurier in the cap, but it does turn out to be the Benson, as I was saying that. So, at the time, though, before the Benson was spotted, that was what my assumption was based on where ships were last spotted. I assumed that it was the Benson and the Protector in A, Venturier in B, but it turned out to not be the case quite like that, so whatever. Nobody's right 100% of the time. Now, right here, we have a fairly strong position. We have both of their battleships in one place, so our entire team can angle to these two guys and be angled to both of their battleships. So there's no crossfire there, although there is the Protector that is going to just monkey push this way, so that guy can be a threat. And the Aventurier, after we spotted the Benson, and we learned that it was the Benson in the cap instead of that other guy, and we saw these torpedoes that were coming from this way, that tells us that the Aventurier, I don't know if I'm saying that right. If I'm pissing off anyone who's French, apologies for that, but what I'm assuming right now is that this guy is going to walk into C and probably backcap that. So what I'm having to kind of decide between right now is, my initial thought was to go back towards C to cut that guy off and defend the cap. But the problem with that is that we're going to lose our Brandenburg, and then we have absolutely nothing that's going to be able to stop this Protector from just pressing W as he pleases, except for our submarine. So right now, I make the decision that I'm going to try and maybe help whittle down this Protector. Maybe our Baltimore can dip into my smoke and clap this guy's broadside. He doesn't do that. Instead, this Baltimore is going to just sail broadside to the Brandenburg. And I think he's slightly angled to the Protector, but at any rate, our Vladivostok doesn't know when to stop pushing, and the Vladivostok and the Xinyang are both basically doing the thing that we call on this channel committing die. The Brandenburg, to his credit, that Brandenburg actually did really well to survive as long as he did and to do as much damage as he did. So honestly, not really anything to talk shit about there. The Vladivostok basically killed himself on purpose. This is what on this channel we call a donation. So we do eventually end up getting backcapped by the Aventurier, which honestly I'm surprised took that long. I would have assumed that that guy would have been in there at least a minute ago, but apparently not. I'm honestly not entirely sure what he was doing for the past like minute or two, but you know, it wasn't capping C. Now, right here, I'm just placing my blind trust in this Xinyang, the Salmon, and the Baltimore, that they're going to be able to handle two relatively low health Brandenburgs. Well, this guy is actually very low health. And the other Brandenburg's about halved, so not the worst. And of course, then the Baltimore gets torpedoed by the submarine, which is not ideal. Now, Xinyang is going to kind of chill. He is going to end up going this way, which is not the greatest thing to do. If I was this Xinyang, what I would be looking at doing is I would be trying to go up north to torpedo the Brandenburg as he goes into B like that. But he didn't do that, and he is going to end up face checking the Aventurier instead. Now, I really do need to kill this guy here, but the problem with this is that the Aventurier has torpedoes that scale with the closer you are, the more damage they do, which getting hit by torpedoes is never a good thing. But in this particular instance, I do have to be very careful because I don't want to round the corner to greed for the Aventurier and then end up eating a face full of torpedoes for it. But luckily, this guy does end up inting his torpedoes, and well, he missed. And I'm pretty, those look like they might have been widespreads too, which is not good for him. But with the threat of torpedoes gone, I can just round the corner and shoot at the Aventurier. Now, I am going to turn my guns for a few seconds here to snap a shot off at the Brandenburg. And the goal there is to try and defend B from being capped. But the shells aren't going to land in time in order for it to matter, which is unfortunate. I should have probably, if I was going to do that, I should have just gone with the one shot before I fired. I think I fired 3 at the destroyer. I should have fired just 2 and then fired the 3rd off at the Brandenburg if my goal was to defend B. But you know, it is what it is. It's too late now, so just gotta deal with it. Now, this Brandenburg is going to be a problem, or at least has the potential to be. We are currently ahead on points. Or, no, we're actually behind. We're dealing with everyone's favorite replay bug where the scores are flipped. Never mind. So we are behind on points, and we're Jesus Christ, I can't even talk. And we are on a double cap, which is not good for us. Now, this Brandenburg, I'm actually not... I don't remember off the top of my head if it has limited DCP or not, because he is just letting that fire burn, despite the fact that he was relatively low health. And I also accidentally hit my start key right, or my Windows key right there, but whatever. Now, I'm expecting that this guy's going to try and peel away and heal. And what I could have done is I could have tried to make this tight turn right there. If you can see that, I could have tried to make the turn right there to go towards B while shooting at the Brandenburg, but I was honestly not entirely sure if I had the turning circle to make that turn without slowing down, which obviously would slow me down, not only in spotting the Brandenburg again, which gives him more time to kite away like this, but it also delays me being able to get into B, which at this point, what I'm looking at is I could try and kill this guy, but that is when this submarine pops up. And what I immediately try and do, you see it happening here, what my goal is I want to try and isolate this submarine as much as possible. And what I'm going to do that is I'm actually moving away from the Brandenburg until at the point where I had to dodge torpedoes anyway. And because the Brandenburg left my gun range, that's how I was able to go dark, if you saw my gun bloom go down right there. And now all I have to do is just straight up run at this submarine, because I am close enough, I am within the 3-kilometer anti-shotgun range, so that I can eat basically every single one of his torpedoes and still live, and I have 2 heals. So it's literally just run this submarine down, because there's nowhere he can go. Nowhere he can go, because if he tries to turn out this way, he's going to run into the island. And then if he tries to turn, he's basically forced to travel along the island right here, or turn all the way back around to where I am. So he's basically just fucked. And it ends up turning out that this Brandenburg is actually out of heals. So that's nice. So this Brandenburg is basically a non-threat. As long as I can manage to engage these guys separately, we're good. Now, here comes the interesting part. You might have noticed me talking a little bit of shit in chat earlier, which was basically me blaming the Vladivostok. And you can also see me right there. I'm asking my submarine to try and keep this Brandenburg spotted, which naturally, as soon as I ask that, the Brandenburg goes dark. So he does end up eating a bunch of torpedoes, though. And now comes the, well, what could have been the most dangerous part of the game, where I wouldn't have known which side of this island that this guy was coming around. And you immediately saw, as soon as the white aiming reticle indicator thing started slowing down, that was indicating that he was slowing and turning out. And, well, I torpedoed accordingly. So the reason that Brandenburg going dark could have been extremely dangerous was because if I chose wrong, like if I chose to defend this route that he ended up going around, but if he went dark and turned south like that and got behind me where I don't have my torpedo firing arc, that could have been extremely bad for me. Possibly I could have gotten one shot if he loaded HE at that kind of range. But could have, should have, would have, didn't. Well, I don't want to say that he should have done that, because he was basically kind of fucked either way. Because our submarine was able to cap A, I capped C, and even if they had B, they wouldn't have had the points because their Aventurier died. And the submarine as well, which was able to flip the scores. And right there, I'm going to try and explain real quick right at the end there. Like, I know my commentary's been a little bit all over the place. I did play this game last night, so I'm trying to remember events as they happened. But at the end there, I didn't need to shoot the way I did. That was literally just me being a greedy idiot. But what I did was I shot at the Brandenburg because his guns were facing the wrong way. And as soon as I saw his turret start to turn towards me, I immediately smoked up on the spot and accelerated forward. And the reason I did that was because that guy, as you ended up seeing, tried to snap the shot off right at where I had gone undetected, because he turned his guns, he aimed at me, and then his guns turned to the point where he was aiming at. So when I smoked up right there, I was moving either slow or completely stationary, and that guy would have aimed at that spot where I was last detected. So my goal was to accelerate to full speed and be anywhere other than where I was spotted those few seconds ago. And then, of course, he ended up shooting, which caused his gun bloom to extend, and, well, the rest is history. So, honestly, that Brandenburg played about as good as he could have. The Protector still placed second on his team despite dying at, like, the halfway point. And then the Brandenburg and the two destroyers kind of, well, yeah. So, this was a pretty cracked game. In a game mode that I don't normally play. 5 kills in a game mode where there's only 6 ships per side is, that's pretty good. So, anyway, I don't know if that thunder is being heard in the microphone or not, but that is going to be it for today. And, yeah, I'll see ya.